So I actually dropped out of high school and I moved to the Bay Area. I lived in this place called the Tenderloin. But I didn't really give my parents a choice. My decision was, this is my passion. This is the thing that drives me. It was actually more than a passion. It was
I was like the youngest person in history to have $1 billion business. I think I just turned 20 when our company was valued at $1 billion. So we raised something like $130 million in an 18-month period. I started my first startup at 12, which we realized, well, what if we could use AI to build apps? What if any small business could type in their app idea in our system and we could use AI to build an app? And that was our first real startup idea. I was at this summer program at Northwestern. My parents are like, you cannot go to traditional summer camp. You must do college courses. So like 6th grade onwards, they sent me to this college summer program at Northwestern. And one year, I think it was summer of 8th grade, I met this kid, Runic. And he was the kid across the hall from me, and we're like, I'm from Cleveland, he's from Detroit. We're so bored in the Midwest, school's like pretty easy, and like the iOS programming language, Swift, it kind of came out recently, and it just started taking off. And we're like, well, let's build apps for small businesses. Let's learn how to code, let's use Swift, and let's build apps for any small business that wants an app. And that was kind of how we got our start to our entrepreneurial journey. We started with a game, and then we built an app for a chain of car washes. We built an app for a medical conference, all kinds of different apps. We made like 30 grand by the time we were 14, which felt like a ton of money. Felt like we were rolling in it. And my co-founder got a research opportunity with a prestigious university in AI research because he was a longtime math researcher. He was doing math research in, I think it was graph theory, and it translated quite well over to AI research. And we realized, well, what if we could use AI to build apps? What if any small business could type in their app idea in our system and we could use AI to build an app? And that was our first real startup idea. Because I had actually dropped out of high school to build this business and moved to the Bay Area. I was living in the Tenderloin, trying to bootstrap it to then raise capital. And my co-founder decides to go to UPenn. And at UPenn, I'm like, well, if he doesn't drop out of UPenn, then I don't know how I'm gonna grow this business. I don't know how we're gonna make this thing work. And he's like, well, in order for us to do it, we need to raise some capital. And we had called all these investors and cold emailed a ton of people, and no one wanted to give us money. They're like, what business do you kids have building wealth management software? So we're sitting at the pretzel station at the Sequoia office. Everyone's like rushing up to Ruloff and Mike Moritz and all these famous partners there, and we're just sitting at the pretzel station chopping on pretzels, and this like guy who like looks really young walks up to us and he's like, what are you two schmucks doing? Like, how old are you guys? Like, who are you? And we start talking about Vise and what we're building, and he's like, look, like, it's fascinating because I was at this retreat with the Collison brothers, a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about like a truth that the mass doesn't necessarily believe to be true, but they believe to be true. And it was that financial advisors will continue to exist and that the relationship is really important. So like, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like, I get the story you guys are going after. So then we pitch at Disrupt, and he's like, you guys should come in and like meet the partnership and, talk about what you're doing. And they had actually made an investment in a company called Future Advisor, which was one of the early robo-advisors at the time, which got acquired for $200 million by BlackRock. And the founder of Future Advisor was an investor of ours. So we raised something like $130 million in an 18-month period. I think we went from a seed stage company to unicorn. It was probably like one of the fastest examples at the time in history.